Welcome back, True Seeker. There's been a big buzz the last couple of days ever since the podcast Macrodosing with PFT and Arian Foster. Arian Foster is a former NFL player, did a sarcastic bit about the NFL being rigged. And a lot of people didn't pick up on the sarcasm, but if you watch past the short clip that's gone viral, you'll see how they get into it's kind of a joke to think that the NFL's rigged. And then they start talking about Larry Johnson. And of course, Larry Johnson's the former NFL running back who I did an interview with in 2020. And I asked him then if he thought the league was rigged. He didn't have a lot to say about it back then, Larry Johnson, but now he is openly calling out the NFL, saying all of pro sports is rigged. And Larry Johnson's also become quite the user of Gematria and Numerology to expose the rigging. And of course, he learned that from yours truly. So these guys do a sarcastic bit on the NFL being rigged. And then Arian Foster starts to talk about how he thinks like maybe Larry Johnson kind of lost his mind. And that's why it's put him on this funny path. I'm going to play this segment. Hopefully they don't try to take down the video for copyright, because it's not about that. I just want people to hear exactly what they said. And then I'm going to respond. And maybe we can even get a conversation with these gentlemen. So let me make sure the audio settings are right here so everybody can hear everything as it should be heard. And I will play this clip all the way through without interrupting. And when they get done talking about the numerology and the NFL rig, that's when I'll respond. And I think our audio settings are good. So with that said, let's watch the clip. And actually, before I play it, if you want to watch this full segment, again, the channel is Macrodosing with PFT and Arian Foster. This video is titled Nanodose. PFT commenter and Arian Foster read the script the NFL uses to rig games. And it was posted January 30th. What's funny about this is they actually start this stream by talking about the 27 Club. And I'll comment on that as well. But here's them in their own words.
It's funny, before we started taping, Arian was telling me about how the NFL is rigged and how every year he used to get a script.
Yeah.
Day one of training camp that would get dropped off at his locker. And you would have to, it was like week 1, you'll do this. Week 2, you're going to have a hamstring injury. Week 3, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Week 4, you're going to get 3 touchdowns. And so then you just have to, did you memorize those before the season started? Or would you go and rehearse the script before every game?
We were really dedicated to it. So it was more so like, that's what practice was about. It was about practicing the script. Like, this is what goes on and this is what we have to do in order to,
And this referee is going to miss this call because they hate you and they love the Colts, that sort of thing.
WWF, so it's like, we know what's going to happen, but you still got to put on a show.
Yeah.
What did you think when you got the script in 2016 that said your career was going to fall off a cliff when you stopped believing in God?
That was 2015.
Around there.
It was 2015. And oddly enough, the script writers, they didn't have anything to do with that, actually. It just had more so to do with they needed to change the scenery in Houston.
It was time to go.
Yeah, it was time to go. So they wanted to get everybody out of Houston. That was the ultimate goal. So that was what that was about.
Can we please clip just that part?
Yeah, I have it done.
And put it out, and we'll be like, wow, Arian Foster, Larry Johnson, handshake. Is Larry okay?
I think initially he wasn't. Like, there was some real mental issues. I can't think he went through some shit, right?
Yeah.
But I think now he is, because I watched some shit that he put out a while back, and he sounds sane, but the things that he's saying aren't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like
that's fine.
I think he's just riding the algorithm. Riding the wave.
I saw one thing he was doing that was really into numerology, where he was just he just sees numbers everywhere, and then he's like, you have to follow the numbers, and he'll just like find a 2 in some word, and then find a 2 in like some stat that he pulls. I'll be like, they're trying to tell you something. You just have to listen to the universe.
Yep.
So I that's a good way to describe it. I think he sounds mentally healthy, but the stuff that he cares about is just bizarre.
Yeah, it's a lot of people nowadays.
Yeah, it's
honestly.
true.
The numerology thing is for someone who tends to connect a couple dots every now and then. The numerology thing doesn't make sense to me because there's 9 digits, right?
Yep.
9 distinguished digits, actually 10 if you count 0.
Mhm.
And those appearing in various different types of patterns across stuff, like you got to understand like that's bound to happen statistically. If you're like so into numbers, that's what I would get. So,
That's a great point, Billy.
like if you like people rationally are like, oh, 666 here, 666 there, 33, and they're like start scrambling with the numbers. But it's like, hey, if you're so into numbers, wouldn't you understand that statistically numbers are going to repeat over because there's only a finite amount of
Well, they're not into
combinations?
numbers for any rational reason. They're into numbers for whatever suits whatever their current interest is. So if they studied numbers in any real way, like to become a mathematician, then they would see how it's silly and the statistical probability of what they're saying is high. Like everything is connected to everything if you want it to be. It just is.
I like numbers. I like numerology.
Yeah, numbers are pretty lit.
Numbers are okay.
You don't fuck with numbers?
No, I like letters better.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a letters guy.
Like, what about angel numbers? Like, I have my angel numbers.
What is an angel
This
number?
seems like something I don't.
This is a girl thing.
This sounds like the crystal shop.
Yeah, it's total crystal shop stuff. It's like 3 digits on top, like next to each other. So it's like 444, 555, and all of them mean something different. So like if you look every time you look at the clock, it's like always 222 or always 111. Then it's supposed to be like you like adopt it as your angel number, and then it means different things. So each of them mean different things. People are gonna roast me for this, but it's a lot of things like a lot of girls like. So like I have my angel numbers that I see all the time, and then you're like, oh, okay.
Well, mine's 911 because every time I look at the clock, it's 911 for some
Okay, but that's not how angel numbers work because that's
That's
not
a
real.
terrible angel number to have.
And that's
a
not
demon
angel.
number.
Yeah,
That might be the worst angel number to have.
No,
Billy.
but it's because that number like has so much emotion attached to it that when I consciously register that number, whereas when I see 130, and I've probably seen it just as many times, like it doesn't register because there's nothing scary about 130.
Is that the same thing as confirmation bias?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like when you buy a red car
Yes.
and you drive around
You see
and
all
you're
that.
like, oh shit, there's a lot of red cars everywhere.
Exactly.
Or like if there's a high profile athlete that gets hit in the chest and his heart stops and he has to be brought back to life, then every other time you see another athlete that suffers some sort of a cardiac event, you're like, wow, there's so many cardiac events going on right now. Something new is happening in the world.
Yeah, they actually studied that. They studied like the events that happen with athletes, and it's about relatively the same.
Yeah.
Right? It happens.
Yeah, but people just notice them like way more now.
Mhm.
So your angel numbers, Billy, 911, great. Awesome.
and like 111 or 1111.
Okay.
So
Because it's
111.
like, oh, 111, make a wish.
So
you got,
111 is your angel.
you got 3 different angel numbers?
No, but those are the numbers.
Blessed.
It's
No,
hogging.
but those are the,
Blessed. You're blessed. man.
those are the numbers that register in my head like every time I look at the clock.
Save some angels for the rest of us.
Yeah,
bro.
so you got 3 angels on you. That's fire.
What are yours, Mad Dog?
I'm 444.
Ooh, have you listened
Okay.
to Jay-Z 444?
I've listened to songs from it, but
I mean,
I
this
used
is
to
your
be-
angel number made an album,
I
and you
used
ain't
to-
trying to.
I used to be in a big Jay-Z phase in high school, but
That's a great phase to be in. Stay in that phase. They say that there's a Jay-Z bar for every situation, and it really is. Like he is a fucking GOAT.
Jay-Z bar for
Every situation, any situation.
but 444 is my angel number that I always
Well,
see.
listen to that. That's a hot take. That's my favorite Jay-Z album. I know it's a hot take.
Big Pimp.
That's your angel bar.
When you hear Jay-Z, you think Big Pimpin'. That's
No, actually, Watch the
fucking
Throne.
Disrespectful.
I've been listening to Watch the Throne a lot recently, just because there's some bangers on that, and like Ham, like is one of my favorite
That's
songs.
like one of the worst songs on the album.
I know, but it's so hype.
Billy just appreciates hype songs.
Yeah, I get you.
Stuff that just gets him going.
Well, we've
Rager.
been lifting to it
Yeah.
recently. It's good stuff.
Rager. I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah.
you. What is this?
We got, are these the angel numbers here? How do I find my angel number?
It comes to you.
Okay.
You don't go to your angel. Your
Yeah,
angel comes to you.
It becomes part of like I just started seeing 444 all
This
the
is
time.
like that movie, the number 23.
I didn't see that.
It's fine. Bro, Jim Carrey killed that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he mentioned that. Larry Johnson mentions number 23 in his little rant. So-
Because there is something called the 23 Enigma,
okay. What is
which
it?
just throughout literature and throughout history,
Mhm.
the number 23 appears a lot in a lot of influential texts. Just like the number 7, if you read the Bible,
Right.
a lot of stuff in the Bible is based on 7
And 3.
and
And 33.
3's in there. 33.
A bunch of 3's
Yeah.
and 33's.
Yeah. So I
I
mean,
think
they're
that's just numbers.
yeah, they're
Jordan, 23.
23.
Yeah, that's wild, Billy.
I mean, think about it.
I thought about it.
LeBron
23.
23. Did you see LeBron on Saturday?
That's my guy, but that might have been excessive.
He cried.
No, that wasn't a real cry. Was it a real cry?
He
I
cried.
think it was a
It
real
was probably
one.
sweat.
He's definitely frustrated because they've been fucking him over.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Laker fan, but we've had some bad calls, but he threw a little fit. He threw a little fit.
Aaron, you're going to like this one.
You don't know that.
Just looked it up. Black peppercorns. Eating or sniffing black peppercorns is another well-known trick for bringing down a hot.
Recordings just got better.
Okay, well, it went to a commercial, and that's perfect because that's where they get off the number topic, and then they start talking about eating spicy things. But anyhow, I want to begin by addressing where the one guy makes the point that, if people studied numerology, they should see that all of these things that they, essentially keep account of are highly probable. And it's like, really? This stuff is highly probable. Okay, so I'm going to get to the point that I continue to make. The world of pro sports is scripted. It's synced up with the news. It's synced up with the rest of the world of entertainment. And it's ritualistic, always paying tribute to history. Again, I've been proving this point for a decade and accurately forecasting the future and nailing a bunch of sports futures. And again, I just want you to think about this. We're having the first Super Bowl. Keep in mind Arian Foster, the football player they have on there, he wore the number 23, and then this stunt comes at the beginning of 2023, and then they're even talking about Jim Carrey's the number 23. Anyhow, we're having the first all-black quarterback Super Bowl on the first ever Super Bowl played on Abraham Lincoln's birthday, which is Super Bowl 57. And right before this Super Bowl, Will Smith put out the film Emancipation. And of course, Lincoln is responsible for the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing the slaves. Notice, first of all, that this movie is 2 hours and 12 minutes long. What day is Lincoln's birthday? 2/12, which is the date of the Super Bowl. And again, they just happened to put out this movie right before the Super Bowl. We'll get to the number of days before, because I'll remind you of the death of Len Dawson, who died on Kobe Bryant Day, who's from Philly. And of course, Len Dawson played for the Chiefs. But if you're new here, Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, something that Larry Johnson now talks a lot about. There are 4 base ciphers. Out of these 4 ciphers, the most important cipher is the dark blue, which is the alphabetic order with the rules numerology. Notice Emancipation has Gematria 57. Also relevant are things like running the alphabetic order in reverse with numerology. Yesterday we heard about the Eagles player getting indicted for rape right before Super Bowl 57. His name, Josh Sills, is 57. But anyhow, the 4 base ciphers are the alphabetic order with the rules numerology, the reverse alphabetic order with the rules numerology. Very intuitive. And for example, when Len Dawson died earlier this year, Chiefs star quarterback who played in Super Bowl I and won Super Bowl IV with the Chiefs, he died exactly 172 days before the Super Bowl. When you use the most simple cipher, the alphabetic order, Kansas City Chiefs is 172. And he died at age 87 after becoming a Hall of Famer in 87, which was the year that a black quarterback first won the Super Bowl, Doug Williams with the Redskins, and his GM, Bobby Beathard, just died right before Super Bowl 57. But anyhow, Len Dawson died exactly 172 days before the Super Bowl on Kobe Bryant Day. We covered this, Kobe from Philly, and now Chiefs Philly. But he died at 87, and he died 65 days after his birthday. And notice, where Philadelphia is 65, Philadelphia Eagles is 87. Again, Len Dawson dead at 87, 65 days after his birthday. Philadelphia solved the boy in the box mystery this year, supposedly, which happened in 57, 65 years ago. And the boy in the box, let me get his name again. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. Joseph Augustus Zarelli. And not by accident, because again, this is about news and sports being synced together. Joseph Augustus Zarelli, 87, right? Just like Philadelphia Eagles, 87. Travis Kelce. It's the first Super Bowl of 2 brothers. Travis Kelce, versus brother Jason Kelce, who plays for the Eagles. Travis Kelce just happens to be one career touchdown from 87 coming into this game. We talked about this in the conference championships, how he might very well get 87 in the Super Bowl. And again, coming back to this Will Smith movie, Emancipation 57. For the record, Abe Lincoln, responsible for the Emancipation Proclamation. Notice Abe Lincoln is also 57, right? Abe Lincoln's also 87 and 42. Like slavery is 87 and 42. Jalen Hurts has the same birthday as the Arizona Cardinals quarterback. The Cardinals are hosting the Super Bowl. Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts are both born on 8/7, August 7th. And with regards to the slavery and 42 thing, again, Arizona also has that 42. So does Tuskegee. So do names like Martin and Malcolm X. Yesterday we were hearing about Ro Vaughn, the mother of Tyree Nichols, beaten by 5 officers, only for the video to be released the same day Memphis got their 5th straight loss to Minneapolis of all cities, where the last provoking video of George Floyd came from. And anyhow, coming back to the emancipation thing, Emancipation 57. Super Bowl on Emancipation Proclamation, responsible party Abe Lincoln's birthday. Again, the film came out December 9th, which was 65 days before the Super Bowl. Super Bowl's on the 43rd day of the year. December 9th leaves 22 days left in the year. 43 plus 22, 65. Elementary math, which most people would struggle with. And again, that's part of the reason people don't catch on, because Americans are really bad at math. That's why you can go to all the big tech companies where you need to be good at math to have the jobs, and you'll realize almost no Americans live there. Again, this is a reflection of the nation we live in. All of the best paying jobs in this nation are occupied by foreigners, Chinese, Russians, other Far East countries, Indians. Again, go to Silicon Valley, go to Seattle, these big tech centers. You won't find any Americans working in these places for the most part. It's a little bit of an exaggeration, but maybe 5% of the workforce there is American, 95% is foreigners. Anyhow, perfectly synced with the Super Bowl is this film, and the film released on Will Smith's 76th day of his age. Again, Acts 7:6 is the well-known verse about slavery in the Bible, and we talk about this all the time. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, slave is 76, so is Negro, so is blues, so is Rasta. Phrases like strange fruit, 76. The nation's first black president, Barack Obama, 76. When was Black History Month recognized by the federal government? 76. And what day did the federal government recognize Black History Month? On February 10th. 10/2 like 102, where slavery's 102 in the American Civil War, which had everything to do with slavery, began on April 12th, the 102nd day of the year. Again, last year on April 12th, 2022, you had the Underground Railroad shooting in New York, blamed on an older black man. And they said it took them 30 hours to find him. Slavery 30, 102. They said all the cameras were out when it happened, just a big old coincidence. But with regards to the 102 thing, look at Will Smith's birthday, September 25th, 68. His birthday has numerology of 102. 9 plus 25 plus 68 is 102. And the Emancipation Proclamation was first issued by Lincoln on September 22nd, 1862, the day leaving 102 days left in the year. So again, the one guy on here, is there a way to get it back up without the commercial in the way? Again, the one guy who said his angel numbers, here, I'm just going to play this and get the commercial off the screen for a second.
Hey.
Come on, 2 commercials?
Wow.
Hey.
person.
Yeah, it's the same guy over here, the guy on the right side of the screen, who said his angel numbers are 9/11 and 111. Remember, September 11th happened on the day leaving 111 days left in the year, and New York equals 111, so that kind of seemed like a weird thing to say. But, and again, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if Americans weren't brain dead, they would have realized that 9/11 was a numerology ritual. We can get into that one too. But first, let's finish here. So Will Smith, who has all the perfect numbers, they released the movie on the most perfect day of his age. Again, this guy over here on the right says all of this stuff is highly probable. And then Arian Foster goes like, yeah, if you go to school and have a real math degree, you'd realize that all of this easily adds up. Well, here, you're looking at somebody who has a master's in education, who's been a school teacher, who's taught math, who's tutored math, and who figured this out. And the reason I figured this out is because I'm good at pattern recognition, I'm good at mathematics, I'm good at probability. Everything I'm showing every day is improbable. The odds of this film coming out on Will Smith's 76th day of his age, this number that's so important to black history and the history of slavery in the Bible, the odds of it coming out on his 76th day of his age are what? 1 in 365. You could round that to 1 in 400, which is about 0.25% chance. If there's a drawing and you have a 1 in 365 chance of winning, do you feel like you're definitely going to win that drawing? Do you feel like your odds of winning that drawing are high? No, of course you don't. You know, you're in a room full of nearly 400 people. You feel like it's highly probable you're going to win the drawing? No, of course not. And again, that's just one element. So you're taking a fraction of a percentage point and then saying, and then what are also the odds that, you know, black history and the Bible are so connected to slavery in 76? So you're taking something else that has astronomical odds with these astronomical odds, and then you're also saying, what are the odds of a word equaling 76? What are the odds that slave, Negro, blues, Rasta all equal 76? Strange fruit, Barack Obama, the first black president. What are the odds of all of those things equaling 76? Again, all of these things have slim odds, and when you multiply something with slim odds times something with slim odds times something with slim odds, you get to 1 in million% chance, you know, a teeny tiny fraction. It's even smaller than that. Yet this stuff goes on every single day. Every single day this goes on, and then you have clowns like this getting together who don't know anything about anything. And I mean, just to even be in the mindset to think that the NFL isn't rigged, I mean, you got to be brain dead to not see how rigged the NFL is. Brady comes back from 25 points on 2/5 as opposing teams fall to 2-5 against him in Super Bowls. And Falcons equals 25. And not to mention, before the game was even played, I guaranteed Brady would win and it would be all about 25. As we've done many times. But anyhow, this stuff's not an accident. It's because it's all in the world of entertainment. It's all synced up. Remember when Kobe died? Kobe, who went from Philly to LA like Will Smith in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Kobe's death was all synced with Will Smith. Here. Another easy one. Again, reminding that the dark blue cipher, by the way, a headline today, New Jersey councilwoman, young black woman, murdered at age 30 yesterday. It's an unsolved mystery right now on the first day of Black History Month. I wonder why it happened. Again, slavery's 30, Tuskegee's 30, a lot of things are. Martin's 30, Malcolm X is 30, the N-word's 30, the list goes on, you know. And her name is, hold on. Again, just a reminder, this goes beyond the world of celebrities, these rituals. Her name is Eunice. Eunice Dwumfor, murdered at age 30 on the first day of Black History Month. Eunice 30. Okay, but about the dark blue cipher being the most important, again, Kobe Bryant, 41. Kobe Bryant, 41. Dead at 41 while traveling from Catholic Mass on the Pope's 41st day of his age. What are the odds of that? Kobe Bryant, 157 in reverse. Kobe Bryant dead on the 157th day of being 41 years old. Kobe Bryant, 113. 44 days before his death, he was in the news for helping out with a car accident, only to die in an accident. Kobe Bryant, also 58. Just like Los Angeles Lakers equals 58. Like the real King James, who was a Freemason and a Rosicrucian, died at age 58. And Freemasonry and Rosicrucian equal 58, and so does Secret Society and Solomon's Temple and Tyree Nichols, which is spelled like Tyre, where the king of Tyre, as we talked about last night with Rambo, commissioned the building of Solomon's Temple only for his funeral to be saved for Black History Month, with Benjamin Crump, 58, in attendance at the Mason Temple. Again, I mean, you got to be brain dead to think all this stuff's a coincidence. And that's why you don't see anyone ever have a debate, but you've seen plenty of videos like this, somebody uploading, talking to themselves, a group of people that are all in the same mindset, laughing about what's true. Oh yeah, like America would attack itself on 9/11. Yeah, yeah, in plenty of other countries, a false flag's not a new thing. a national emergency on 911. Again, just, the guy was trying to make the point about 33. Does the same guy whose angel numbers are 9/11 and 111, again, September 11th leaves 111 days left in the year, and New York's 111, does he know that in 1968, World Trade Center construction began, 911 was made the national emergency dialing code, George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones, 2001 A Space Odyssey came out, Boeing's first jumbo jetliner was debuted, the New York Jets had their only Super Bowl winning season, like after 9/11 and the Patriot Act, all of a sudden the Patriots were the greatest team in the NFL. And again, that dark blue cipher, false flags 33, again from 68 to 2001's 33 years later, comes from pirate terminology, pirates 33, masonry's 33, secrecy's 33, orders 33, federal's 33. Run it the other way, New York's 33. Again, just obvious numerology rituals. The Tyree Nichols thing, the camera goes to the beating at 33 minutes past the hour when they're comparing it to Rodney King, who was beaten on 3-3 by the police 33 like LAPD. Compared it to George Floyd, where the George Floyd rioting started on East 33rd Street. Again, this stuff is a joke to denounce it and say it's highly probable. How's it highly probable? 33 is important to Masonry. The House of the Temple in D.C., the Masonic headquarters, has 33 columns on the outside that are each 33 feet tall. And the address of the building is 1733. Again, Mason has the Gematria of 17, modern Freemasonry created in 1717. And then 59 years later, this nation created, which is the 17th prime number, but 1733. The thing they just did with Damar Hamlin. Week 17, exactly 17 weeks after he changed his jersey number. The big episode with the Buffalo Bills on the 117th day of the NFL season, after they had the Tops grocery store shooting exactly 117 days before their season opener. Again, news and sports, all synced together, all scripted, all ritualistic, all identified by understanding the knowledge that the scripters do it by. And again, here, let me just put out the list. Again, the dark blue cipher, Freemasonry 58, Secret Society 58, Solomon's Temple 58, Rosicrucian, a related order, 58, Tyree Nichols 58, Benjamin Crump 58. There's more you could add to that list, but all in that dark blue cipher, all those things are 58. Where is the Tyree Nichols funeral on the start of Black History Month with Benjamin Crump in attendance, with 58-year-old Kamala Harris speaking out? Where's it at? It's at the Mason Temple. What's etched on Masonic temples? The Pythagoras quote, all is number. Funny that Pythagoras was into this code of letters and numbers. It's called isopsophy in Greek, whereas it's gematria in Hebrew. That's why Revelation 13:18 about the one with wisdom will calculate the number of the beast. Again, these guys are like, well, that's why sometimes we'll see 666. Well, do you think it's a coincidence that they simulated a coronavirus pandemic exactly 666 days before it was declared? And vaccination equals 666 in Sumerian gematria? And the funny thing is, like, people with low IQs and intellect, they'll be like, oh, no, now Sumerian gematria. Oh, yeah, another cipher. It's like, well, it is a cipher and just multiplying the alphabetic order times 6. But you all know how it is, for those of you with brains, when you try to talk to the dummy Americans, right? It is always like that. Like, they always like laughing and grinning and having this, like, shit-eating attitude. Oh, okay, oh, yeah, well, good. It's just like, just admit that you're too dumb to grasp what I'm saying. Admit that you're too dumb to see the obvious. See, people's egos are too big. The average American, their ego's 1 million, their IQ's about 50.
Yeah, if you were actually, like, had a degree and, like, studied math, you'd realize that all this is just a coincidence.
No, you'd have to be a moron to realize or to think it's a coincidence. And sadly, that's what there's a lot of in this world. So anyhow, the Emancipation film perfectly synced with the Super Bowl. And yet again, Will Smith. Here. When Kobe died, Will Smith's birthday is September 25th. September 25th, 2019 was Will Smith's last birthday. Kobe died January 26, 2020. And it was exactly 123 days later. The word conspiracy is 123. And let me see if I can remember the rest of this off the top of my head. Shit. I forgot what it is. It's in my book. Hold on, I gotta look it up. Will Smith, Kobe Bryant, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, you also do have the episode where he is wearing number 41, getting the Kobe Bryant number. Oh, that's what it is. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is 123. Again, he goes from Philly to LA in the show. Kobe, born in Philly, goes to play basketball in LA. Notice not only was it 123 days, it was 4 months and 1 day, right? The pilot of the helicopter was Ara Zobian, 41. Alicia Keys did the Grammy tribute for Kobe. There was so much to it. I mean, if you everything was synced up with this. Beyonce won her 24th Grammy that day. Massive ritual. Kobe scored 60 in his last game. The rest of his team scored 41. He comes off the court with 4.1 seconds. Does the Nike short film with Kanye West with the exploding helicopter at the end. And maybe I didn't put it in this post, or maybe I did. Yeah, just the Chamberlain Heights predictive programming. There's so much to it. But maybe it's not in this one. Oh yeah, by the way, that was that episode came out on 1611, like the King James Bible came out in 1611. Remember, LeBron passed Kobe in points scored the day before Kobe died in Kobe's hometown of Philly, and he passed him scoring the 54th points of the game, where Kobe Bryant is 41, his full name Kobe Bean Bryant is 54, and he got passed on 25/1, where 251 is the 54th prime. And again, LeBron's 54th point, or the 54th points of that game, passed Kobe. And go back and watch the video I did the day before Kobe died, explaining why LeBron would pass Kobe that day, the significance of him getting passed on 25/1 in regards to Kobe's name a week before Super Bowl 54. In that video, I talked about how Daryl Dawkins and Moses Malone were both sacrificed for Kobe's last season. And notice also how when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Kobe Bean Bryant's 81, his career high, 81 points in his 666th game. The 243, again, he died 243 days after Jerry West's 81st birthday. He died 135 days from Kanye West's birthday. He crashed near Kanye West's house. Kanye West is in the Nike short film. Hold on. Kobe, Kanye, Nike short film. The movie poster has the exploding helicopter. Bruce Willis is also in it. Okay, you can see the, well, it's getting smaller, even though I'm trying to zoom in. You can see the caption says, "You lose this road game, you don't go home." You lose this road game, you don't go home. 157. You see that? 157, like Kobe Bryant's 157, like accidents 157, like his dad's nickname Jelly Beans 157, like how he died on his 157th day of being 41 years old. And if you go back and watch the Super Bowl the week after, go watch. Again, remember, Bryant equals 26, dead on the 26th. Bryant 37 in reverse, dead on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant. Bear Bryant died in 83. Football coach, football 83 like murder. But again, go watch Mahomes win the Super Bowl. His 26th completion is a touchdown to number 26 on the 41st pass of the game. Kobe Bryant 41. Super Bowl 41. Now this year, Mahomes advances to the Super Bowl, winning his 41st career home win as a starter. Puts him in the Super Bowl. Where's he playing at? State Farm Arena, where he does the commercials for State Farm. And State Farm's 103. It's the 103rd NFL season. And Mahomes right now, his playoff record is 10-3 all time. And again, for people who don't know this stuff, just look it up. Football DB is the best website for quarterback overall stats. And Patrick Mahomes, he got his 41st career home win. He's 74-19 overall. You should have seen how many 19s were in the game when he beat the Bengals. It was 19 city on a 19-date numerology. But anyway, 41st home win to advance. And then his postseason stats. There he is, Mahomes, 10-3 in the 103rd NFL season. Now going to play in State Farm, 103. So, and again, that's why we put in a future for the Chiefs before the season even began after Len Dawson died, because that's how it works. We had futures in at the beginning of the season for the Bills, who had a narrative, and the Chiefs. And at the end of the day, not real exciting because they are the 2 top seeds. But, you put that in, now you're in position to hedge and make sure you win on the Super Bowl. So, Rig Sports, numerology, numbers, from knowing it, we've been winning for a whole decade straight. Calling futures, getting articles written about it. We've even convinced Larry Johnson, an NFL player, that the NFL's rigged. He's now teaching about it. And then you got clowns like this coming out. I mean, like for Arian Foster to be putting down Larry Johnson, saying, I think like maybe he kind of lost his mind. No. Larry Johnson sees what's going on in the world. Larry Johnson's been speaking facts. I don't agree with everything Larry Johnson says, but he sees the agenda and how sick and satanic it is, and he sees that it is a big number game. And really, the only people who can't see that are people who are blind, inept, brain dead, lemmings, as I like to call them. That really is the word. If you guys don't know what a lemming is, here, let me put the definition up for you. A lemming. Let's read it out. Oh, what did Google do? Google's not putting up definitions up at the top anymore. Lemming definition. A person who unthinkingly joins a mass movement, especially a headlong rush to destruction. I mean, that's exactly what society is. Couldn't sign up to be a Pfizer guinea pig fast enough. How about this nice article from Sports Illustrated? Sports Illustrated, 44 former NFL players dead since the start of 2021. What a nice time for SI to zero in on this. What began at the start of, really in the U.S. at the start of 2021? Do you remember what it was? The vaccine actually went live on the anniversary of Sandy Hook, and the first person to get it was a nurse named Sandy Lindsay. But most people got their jab at the start of 2021. And again, SI just put out this article. In all, 44 current former NFL players aged 50 or younger have died since the start of 2021. We've been here educating about 44, the number of death, for a long time. Kill 44, execution 44. But I also pointed out the day Trump went and spoke on May 15th, 2020, issuing Operation Warp Speed, a military exercise to get out the jab. Warp Speed 44, like military. Again, like execution, like Pfizer. Do you think it's an accident that SI decides to write this article when 44 people are dead? God.
You know what? I think if you had a math degree, you could see that it was all just a coincidence.
Yeah, okay. As they kill, as they have a bunch of officers. Remember, it was 44-year-old Derek Chauvin that killed George Floyd on the 44th parallel, which is fitting for an officer, because officer is 44. Get Minneapolis on the 44th parallel if I got to slow it down for the slow people. But Derek Chauvin, 44 years old, representing the department, and now in Memphis, where they kill Tyree Nichols right before the MLK holiday, where MLK was killed on 4/4. Now they disband the Scorpion unit. Typically it's a shooting, which is what happened to MLK on 4/4 and Malcolm X on a 44 date numerology. But yeah, I'm sure it can all just easily be explained away by somebody with a math degree. You could argue that yours truly has a math degree. Again, I have a master's in education. We had to pass a whole lot of math classes. But yeah, anyone with a brain can see that this stuff's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence at all. And again, there's just a gazillion examples every day. Here, let's just go over a few from the last few days. Shirley from Laverne and Shirley's dead, right? She's dead at the same age as Penny Marshall, who was also in the show. They both happen to die at the same age. And they both happen to die in big old Jesuit rituals. But here, let's just keep it simple. The woman who played Shirley Feeney just died at 75, 156 days after her birthday. Her character name, 156 and 75. Is this anything new, or is this exactly what I've been showing a million times over? Celebrity death after celebrity death. The probability of these things is so small every time. But then we have again, I've been here for a decade straight doing this every day. Examples every single day just like this. So it's this is a 1 in a million right here. and then you have to debunk a 1 in a million thing that's documented every single day for a decade. And of course, a lot of our documentation goes back to things that happened before I even found the work, going throughout history. Again, secret societies, secret Kabbalistic knowledge. I guess I should have made that point early on. All of this comes from Kabbalah. Kabbalah is what Masonry is based in. Masonry is known as Judaism for the Gentile. Modern Freemasonry is a Jesuit creation. Who are the Jesuits? They were created by Jews who converted to Catholicism, not to mention the Catholic Church had the Kabbalah knowledge, which the Templars brought back from the Holy Land during the Crusades. But it's so obvious. Again, in the 16th century, they took this Kabbalistic knowledge from, more ancient languages and civilizations. The 16th century, you got the calendar named after the Pope that we're on. You got the English language where they shifted all the vowels to what they now are, the 26-letter alphabet. And since the 16th century, that's how all of history is. Addams Family girl, actress Wednesday, the original Wednesday. She just happens to kick the bucket at 64 the other day, right? Lisa Loring, 64. What's her name equal? 64. She was the original Wednesday on the Addams Family, which came out in 64 and ran 64 episodes, and it ended in 66. And she just happened to die 66 days after the premiere of the new Wednesday show based on her character. And the new actress's name happens to equal 66. And the new actress happens to be 20 years old, meaning that she's 44 years younger than the actress who just died. And what's the character name Wednesday equal? 44. What day is Jenna Ortega born? September 27th, the day the Jesuits are recognized by Rome. Again, Jesuits controlling Hollywood, your sports leagues, your Oval Office, syncing up all the rituals together. Again, there's examples galore. Sidney Thornton, announced dead at the start of Black History Month. Number 38 for the Steelers, saving the news for the first day of Black History Month. He's dead. He's dead at 68. What happened in 68? Oh, the killing of the most famous black American there ever was, Martin Luther King Jr. in Memphis. He played for the Steelers, who were once merged with the Eagles during World War II. The Eagles running back is from Memphis, Gainwell. But number 38, I was just talking about this yesterday. They just showed the Washington Post purposely put up the article of Beathard, who's dead, holding up the 38 jersey. I mean, how many examples do we have of death in 38? Death 38, murder 38, killing 38, RIP 38. How can it be a coincidence when you have, you have the Murder by Numbers movie poster put out by Hollywood where they changed the E to the 3 and the B to the 8. And again, with regards to the Jesuits, what day did this film come out? The same day in history that Ignatius Loyola became the first superior general. Film comes out 38 weeks after Sandra Bullock's film. If you pay attention in the movie, they put the date March 8th up on the screen. Again, show me any math professor in the world who can come and explain all this away. Oh, yeah, it's all a coincidence. God. Be some moronic paid-off professor, just like the ones that do the faulty testing and studies to cause confusion in the headlines. Ooh, new study says... Anyway. If you got your own brain, you can see all of this stuff's improbable. But here, coming back to the latest dead football player, Sidney Thornton, whose name they saved for Black History Month. And again, just yesterday, the funeral in Mason Temple in Memphis with 68-year-old Al Sharpton pointing the finger, referencing Martin Luther King Jr., how he was, how MLK was killed 55 years ago, and then they just have the protest in Memphis on Interstate 55, and again, notice how Timberwolves is 55, and so is Minneapolis, and so is Target Center. That's where the Timberwolves play in Minneapolis. And Minneapolis just got knocked out of the playoffs, 31-24, 55 points. But again, the day of the video being unveiled of Tyree Nichols, it just so happened that Minnesota and Memphis became tied at 55-55 all time. And again, Nichols, 5 cents, 5 cops, 5-game losing streak for Memphis on that day. And not to mention, you go back and see what I've been putting out for free all year. Again, we do have the paid-for content for sports picks. Enjoy your nice upset last night over the Blazers over the Grizzlies. But all year I've been just saying to people, hey, you want a freebie? Anytime Minnesota has a nice 55 riddle on the board, that number's hitting with the Timberwolves. all day in the most pure cipher. Look how 55 the team is again. Timberwolves, Target Center, Minneapolis. You think that's an accident? Of course it's not. Of course it's not. That's why every time 55 comes up with that team, it hits.
Oh, well, I bet I could get a professor to explain how it's a coincidence every time, because there's only 10 digits.
Did you notice how he did that? And then he started talking about 33. It's like, okay, yeah, there might be 10 digits, but out of those digits, there's infinite number possibilities. And we have an infinite list of examples that build by the day of how these rituals are carried out. Coming back to Sidney Thornton. His name, Sidney, has the gematria of 76. Remember how we were just talking about this? The Will Smith movie came out on the 76th day of his age. The slave code that goes with Black History Month and why the feds recognize Black History Month in the year 76. Sidney, 76 and 31 like slave. Wonder why they saved it for Black History Month. I looked up his stats. He played 74 regular season games, which goes with his name, Sidney Thornton. This is for the Stillers. Sidney Thornton, 74. And he played 7 playoff games, so a total of 81 games. We call that 81 the Pittsburgh Steelers number. Pittsburgh Steelers 81. Amazing. And what's also amazing is how this is true for nearly every guy who's ever played for any team in the NFL. Out of all the pictures they could have shown for his death, playing against the Eagles on August 15th, the Jesuit order's birthday in 81. How about it? How about it? And again, that's a big number on Sunday. Jesuit 78 like Sunday 78. Don't forget when they killed John Thompson, the first black coach to win a college basketball championship with Jesuit Georgetown. He died unexpectedly at age 78 on a 78 date numerology. And then 66 weeks and 6 days later, they named the quarter after him.
Oh, but that's just because you're looking for 666.
No, actually, it's because the person with wisdom will calculate the pattern. That's the difference. Shit for brains idiot calls it a coincidence. Guy who knows what's going on explains it. 78's special for all kinds of reasons. Number of cards in the tarot deck. Genesis, the first book of the Bible, 78. The 78th verse of Genesis is Genesis 3:22, where in the New International Version and the King James Version, the verse codes out to 3:22, and it mentions the tree of life, the Kabbalistic model that has 3 pillars and 22 paths. And again, the Jesuits did create the Scottish Rite, which is another 78. DC, the land of the Jesuits and the Scottish Rite. And with regards to the Jesuits, the Stillers are owned by the Rooney family, which is a Jesuit family. He also died on 72 date numerology like Jesuit order. So, I'm sure it's all just a coincidence. Dead at 68, news saved for the first day of Black History Month. And again, just like Bobby Beathard, first GM to win the Super Bowl with a black QB in a massive 42 ritual. Again, I mean, just what are the probability of this? Doug Williams had 4 touchdowns in the second quarter, scored 42 points. And again, all 3 black quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl to date have had a big 42 ritual. It's going to continue this year because it's in Arizona. But slavery, again, 42. Tuskegee, 42. Jackie, 42. The first black baseball player actually in white Major League is Moses Walker, who played in 42 games. I'm sure it's all just a coincidence. Again, Huxtable, as in the Cosby Show, Huxtable 42, Cosby Show 42. Martin, who lives in apartment 42 in Detroit on the 42nd parallel. All these 42s. But again, the 3 black quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl. Doug Williams, who scored 42 points. Russell Wilson, who plays for the Seahawks, out of the 42nd state, Washington, who are named after the local Native American tribe. And Mahomes, who had 42 pass attempts in Super Bowl 54. Oh, by the way, that was the Joe Montana Bowl. Joe Montana, 54, his 2 teams. Wore 19 for the Chiefs. They win the 2019 season. But, yeah, this stuff's not an accident. I mean, you got to be brain dead. You got to be brain dead. So, if this panel is out there and they want to have a debate with me and talk about how coincidental all this is and what a joke of an idea it is that the NFL's rigged when it couldn't be any more obviously rigged week after week, you know where the channel is. I would love to have this debate, you know. I know they're not going to win the debate. We can actually get out the calculator and start calculating probability and see just how astronomically small the odds are of all of these things lining up the way they do. You know, Ilhan Omar, you know, she's out today on the 33rd day of the year. Very federal number. And then the other big number in DC is 47. That's today's date numerology. And Omar's 47, just like DC's 47, like government's 47, like authorities 47, like Republicans 47, like Democrats 47. Like White House and President are 47. Like Biden in D.C. for 47 years before becoming president, when he was once the 47th vice president who took office with 47-year-old Obama. Like Trump the year he won in the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel. Like how the name Trump equals 47. Again, just all the mockery. Hines Ward playing in Heinz Field. Jerry Rice playing in San Francisco, where Rice-A-Roni's the San Francisco treat. There's just so many ways they treat the fans like they're dumb, and because the fans are pretty much dumb, they don't see the mockery. It's the ruling class, you know, providing the bread and circus for the peasants, or it doesn't take much to keep them occupied, and it's all it takes to essentially rule over them. They'll slave away all week for low wages. Just give them the football game. Give them the rigged football game on Sunday. They'll be straight. Yeah, there's a lot more that could be said, but perhaps I'll save it for the debate. I'm just going to assume these guys are going to want to have the debate. Essentially, if you're picking on Larry Johnson for using numerology, you're picking on me because he learned it from yours truly. And I think it's on my Gematria Effect Sports channel. I think the interview's still up there. It's from January of 2020, just before the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54. By the way, Gematria Effect Sports is suspended for some BS. They said me showing how the Memphis Grizzlies and Timberwolves game was perfectly synced with the video release. They said that was hate speech. Again, if all this was nonsense, they wouldn't have had to delete my channel 20-some times and continue to suspend me and make sure I can't. And we realize what they've done. They've suspended me for 2 weeks so that I couldn't cover the conference championships on the sports channel or expose the Super Bowl like I do year after year. This week they got preemptive and just gave me a 2-week suspension on the Sunday early in the morning before the NFC Championship games. But I think you can still find the video on this channel. Let's see. Come here and search Larry Johnson. Let's see. Yeah, YouTube's done a number on their search engine. You search Larry Johnson and everything comes up but Larry Johnson. Come on, man. Here, let's try it this way. Gematria Effect Sports, Larry Johnson. There it is. Larry Johnson, the Kansas City Chiefs interview, January 22nd, 2020. He came on for TFR. And again, if you listen to that interview, you'll see that he's changed a little bit since that interview. He wasn't saying the NFL was rigged back then, and now he is. So I think we had a good impact on Larry. Here, just for kicks, if there's anybody out there that wants to come on and take the position of macrodosing, that numerology is just a coincidence and the NFL isn't rigged, there is a top pinned comment, and all you got to do is click the link. And if you want to take up that side of the debate, I'll hang around for a few minutes to see if anybody wants to come in. If not, actually, I also saw this. They were posting this on social media. Here's a real stat from this year. Here's a real stat. Let me get it up here. The Chiefs and the Eagles are both 16-3, which is, that part's believable, right? The teams could have the same record. But they've both scored the exact same amount of points this season. Think of the odds of that. Talk about astronomical. And again, for people who don't know, the Super Bowls that the Eagles have now been in, 15, 52, 57. Or hold on. I'm missing a Super Bowl. 39. 15, 39, 52, 57. Added up, they add up to 163. Again, the Eagles play in Lincoln Financial Field. Remember, the dark blue cipher is the most important one. Lincoln Financial Field is 103. It's the 103rd NFL season. The Super Bowl on Lincoln's birthday. Lincoln elected in 1860, 163 years ago. The Super Bowls they've now been in add up to 163. Again, the guy they have singing the national anthem, his birthday is April 15th, the day Lincoln died, and he just happens to be 44 years old. The shooting number, the number connecting to Abraham as well. Again, all this stuff is such an obvious ritual and mockery. I mean, to think it's a coincidence is just pathetic. Man singing Super Bowl 57 national anthem. His name escapes me right now. Chris Stapleton. Check it out. Born April 15th, the day Lincoln died, 44 years old. From Kentucky, like Lincoln. But yeah, 100. All their Super Bowls add up to 163. And the Chiefs, all their Super Bowl numbers now add up to 171, which is the 18th triangular number. 18 years ago, Andy Reid lost the Super Bowl with the Eagles. In 2018, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I mean, what are the odds of that? And also, 10 years ago, Nick Sirianni coached for the Chiefs. And 10 years ago, Andy Reid coached for the Eagles. Think about that. What are the odds of these things? 505?
Hello, yes. Are you on live right now? I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is a live stream right now.
Well, can I ask you a quick question? I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm in New Mexico. My name is Sam. I know you try to get the word for your fantastic information you provide everybody out. I tried to let Clyde Lewis, who has a radio show called Ground Zero, know about you. I think he would like talking to you. His producer said he's tried to contact you many times to get you on the show. Is he lying to me when he says that, or have you been contacted by Ground Zero to try to get your word out to the national audience?
Well, I've missed a gazillion emails. I've never caught one of their emails, but if that's true, I'll send them an email today. So.
Okay, because Clyde's really good at pattern recognition, and that's what you do with the pattern with the numbers. I don't think he knows about it. I think you guys would hit it off really good.
Okay.
So otherwise, I just want to thank you for your excellent work. I don't have any decodes or anything, but I was just trying to help you get your information to a wider audience to get more people to be aware of it. And
all right, I appreciate it.
I thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Now, he was calling from New Mexico, and I was wondering who it was, because Kayla's in New Mexico, but when she calls, her name shows up. This podcast that I'm calling out, I looked at their thing. They're from New Mexico, too, so I thought maybe somehow it was somebody calling from the show. Kayla makes a good point. Tony Dungy was the first black coach to win the Super Bowl, and he did it on February 4th, which can be written 4/2. And Tony Dungy's birthday is October 6th, 10/6. And again, just the patterns. Black 106, Black Lives Matter 106, Black Power 106, BET 106 in Park, Obama's book, A Promised Land, released on the day leaving 44 days left in the year, 106 days after his birthday. His book, 59 and 76, like slave, like Negro, like blues, like Rasta, like Ephesians 6:5-9, about being a good slave. And it's 6:5 too, you know. It starts with Christianity 65, a religion for the slaves. Even to this day, black people, the most devout Christians, not seeing the mockery, waiting for things that are stories printed in books by man, meant to control man. I don't think there is a population that's more beholden to authority than black Americans, you know. And that is something that community needs to work on. There's a reason they're the most oppressed, because they're putting their faith in all the wrong things. But yeah, ritual after ritual, day after day, impossible coincidences for anyone with an IQ. Yeah, prophecy does equal 106. We were just next to the Yale campus, and the Prince Hall Freemason Lodge that's right there next to the campus is at the address 106. That's a good point, Matt Tucon. Doug Williams, drafted by the Bucks, wore number 12. Brady retires. Doug Williams is 67 years old right now, like Kansas City. Appreciate it, Haroon. Here, let me check. I wasn't looking at the screen. I don't know if anybody else gave a super chat. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Say thank you to anybody who might have given one, and perhaps wrap it up here. All right, that was the only one. All right, thanks, Haroon. Appreciate it. Yeah, and I don't see anybody joining the room to debate, so just a reminder that there is no real debate. Andy Hoff in all caps, which is the anytime somebody writes in all caps, you just already know the IQ is super low. But just a troll. You're so dumb if you believe the NFL is rigged. Well, you got to be pretty dumb if you're ignoring what I've proven over the last decade about how rigged all of pro sports is. Here, come on, Andy. Instead of being a moron in the chat, come on and let's hear the intelligence of the guy who thinks the NFL isn't rigged. Top pin comment. You're smart enough to click on the link. Come on, big guy who talks in all caps. Come on. It's not just the refs that make the game rigged, though. I mean, look at all the purposefully busted tackles. I mean, did you see Christian McCaffrey's touchdown run? I mean, give me a break. Nobody can tackle that guy. Nobody can guard Wes Welker. Come on, little Andy. Come on, little boy with the caps. Come on and get smoked. Appreciate it, Sammy. Thank you. Yeah, I know. All the perfect numbers on the dollar bill. That's why it's pathetic that people can't see. It's just like when you listen to this panel of morons talking about numbers, it's like, okay, you're talking about it without perspective. You don't realize that there's things like Jewish people who worship numbers and perform rituals around numbers. You don't realize that there's Masons, where Masonry is Judaism for the Gentile, and etched on their temple is Allah's number. I mean, again, people speak like they know so much, coming from their very ignorant place of know-nothingness. Yeah, the hidden owl that you need the magnifying glass to see, indeed. It doesn't take this long to click the link and join the stream, Andy. It's really simple. Even a low IQ guy like you who thinks the NFL's not rigged can figure it out. Click. Thanks, Max Bet. The difference is, though, that Arian Foster was being sarcastic. The other guys were being sincere. Arian Foster, number 23 at the start of 23, is not being sincere. He's kind of trying to muddy the waters. Here, let's take a look at Arian Foster's career, actually, while we wait for Andy to figure out how to click the link. Low IQ Andy with the big caps. Arian Foster, let's see. Got the same birthday as Kobe Bryant Day. Be careful, Arian, be careful. Things connected to Kobe has been fateful. Talk to the rapper Blue Benji Kobe. Oh, wait, you can't. He had 80 regular season games, 70 starts. I think I see a joke in that, Arian Foster. Again, with a lot of the white supremacist shootings, your name is Arian, like, Aryan Nation. If you go look through the history of white supremacist shootings, you'll be blown away by how many times they say 70 shots were fired. I covered this back in the time of the Tops shooting because they said a white supremacist shot 70 shots at the Tops. But I almost wonder about a guy named Arian getting cut off after 70 NFL starts. That's interesting. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it, man. So Arian with the 70 career starts, then gets booted from the NFL. He played 76 games with Houston. Man. Arian, it's close to home, isn't it? This number's all over the rituals with black men. They got rid of you after 76 games. Slave, Negro, Blues, Rasta. Again, who's dead? Sydney, on the first day of Black History Month. 76 games in Houston. I forget how they coded 76 on George Floyd. I forget how they did it. Maybe it was his porn star name or something. George Floyd from Houston. Arian ended up playing a total of 84 games in his NFL career, a total of 74 starts. And again, 84's big was Sunday, 84, Jesuit, 84. We're just talking about John Thompson, dead at 78 on the 78 date numerology. He was also the first black coach to win the championship in 84. The funny thing about him starting in 74 games, we were just talking about how there were 70 shots fired at the Buffalo Tops, but that was also on the 74th birthday of Israel that top shooting happened. White supremacist 74, like Jewish. I think the NFL did a joke with Arian Foster. 74 starts, and then they just kicked him right out of the league. I mean, he still had plenty of tread on his tires. I mean, here, let's go back and look. Arian Foster, last day in NFL. What was the day he was cut? He announced his retirement October 24th. That's the... Okay. That's the day leaving 68 days left in the year. I don't know if there's something more with that with Arian. He had... Here, let me put his stats back up. He had 68 starts with Houston. Arian Foster. Here, let's check it out. Arian Foster. Do you think look, we're seeing all this 223 stuff to start 2023, right? Just like Philadelphia being in the Super Bowl. His full name is 223. He references the number 23 in that podcast, and that movie starts on February 23rd. It's funny. Arian Foster. Again, he's got the perfect names to be used by the Jesuit cabal. Arian Foster, 5472, like Jesuit order. See other things in that, but August 24th to the last day of his career, October 24th, 2016. He retired at age 30. Hold on, let me see how many days from his birthday to that was. "61 days after his birthday, 62nd day of his age." Got a good name for football, too. You see how his name's got the 83-34? Big numbers with the Texans a lot. 83-34. He's their best career rusher to date. Foster, who leads the Texans. Perfect name for football, too. Foster, 83-29 like football. Like Odell Beckham traded on his 29th birthday from Cleveland to LA when the Rams started out in Cleveland, and it was the day leaving 56 days left in the year before he went on to score the first touchdown of Super Bowl 56, which was a nice 9-1 payout for us because we had him to score the first touchdown of Super Bowl 56. Maybe the other thing about him starting in 74 games, he's from San Diego. That's a big number in San Diego. So possibly that's part of the ritual. But yeah, you start looking at these NFL guys so often when they quit, when their careers come to an end. It is a perfect ritual. Arian's also 43 like football, huh? He's got a good name for football, Arian Foster. All right, I think we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. See if they want to debate. You just never know. And yeah, if you guys got here late, feel free to rewind. I played the clip that's gone viral of them on the Macrodosing podcast sarcastically talking about the NFL being scripted and then getting into questioning Larry Johnson's mental health and then kind of saying that numerology is stupid and easily debunked. So I just did a presentation that's pretty much impossible to debunk, and we'll see if they want to try and take a stab at it. So, and again, you know, you want to get the knowledge before the games are in. Thank you to everyone who supports the Patreon. But the reason the knowledge is lucrative too is, again, nailing futures, taking advantage of rigged games. The Magic upset in the 76ers before this was a nice payout. We thought the 76ers might stay on those 32 wins before picking up their 33rd win over the Magic on the 32nd day of the year, which is exactly what they did. Game before that paid out. But you see how like the Blazers got their 25th win last night? They were a pretty solid underdog at the Grizzlies. Grizzlies scored a predictable 112 points. But Memphis Grizzlies, you see the 97? That is the 25th prime number, and we've been documenting for years. I mean, for years we've been living on these same patterns. That's the proof it's not a fluke. It doesn't hit in every single game, but it hits in well over 70% of Grizzlies games. So if you have a nice payout on the board, that's what you're looking for with high odds of it coming through. Blazers last night. Pick up the 25th win. And as I say that it comes through in over 70% of games, that's true at this point. When we started this research years ago and caught onto this, it was coming through in like every single game. And my theory on why it doesn't come through as high of a rate as it used to is because a lot of people have caught on. And, you know, Vegas got to switch it up a little bit. But it still comes through all the time. Celtics pick up the 37th win in TD Garden, which is 37. Again, that dark blue cipher is the most important one. And 37 is the 12th prime. And the Nets picked up their 12th away loss. But the other game that had good value last night on the board, the Jazz. They gave the Raptors their 18th away loss. Notice forwards and backwards. Jazz, 18. Forwards and backwards. Numbers that just play with these teams year after year, over and over. The Hawks became 26-26 away yesterday. 26 date numerology. Phoenix equals 26. In the same cipher, so does Suns. Again, the league is totally scripted from the NBA to the NFL to the MLB. It's the same thing in all these leagues. And 76ers getting their 33rd win of the year over Magic. Again, came into the game on the 32nd day of the year with 32 wins, and those teams played each other back-to-back. That's the other thing I now hate that the NBA does, having the teams play back-to-back. That also makes it a little bit more challenging. But sometimes you can spot like, well, the 76ers are a nice payout tonight, and if the 76ers, or the Magic were a nice payout the game before, if they upset the 76ers, which they did, but it's like, well, they could stay on 32 wins and then play them again on the 32nd day of the year. Boom. Rig League, language, calendar. Rig News, language, calendar. Rig Sports, Rig News, all connected together. Language, calendar. Not like, oh, well, every now and then, like, some things might line up. No, day after day, these things are lining up. Day after day. God. Again, Slavery 87, Martin 87. Tyree Nichols beaten to death by the cops 87 days before the Martin Luther King Jr. anniversary assassination. Selma just gets destroyed with a tornado when there was an 87-kilometer march by Martin Luther King Jr. in Selma. Right before the MLK holiday as well. Again, look into weather warfare. First admitted to on August 15th, 1952, the Jesuit order's birthday, who's doing everything from rigging your weather to murdering your favorite sports stars and flaunting their dates about it. That's why in the dead Sidney Thornton story, they got to show you a picture of him from August 15th, that fateful date. What happened to, Jesuit Trump's brother on August 15th? Oh, that's right, he died. What happened after the Jesuit invasion of Afghanistan? Oh, that's right, their government collapsed after 20 years on August 15th. I wonder why. Here, the troll wants to be heard, and if I don't let him be heard, he'll probably just call me all day. What is it, troll? The same guy who's talking in all caps in the chat who won't come on the stream. What is it? Okay, he's just going to sit there in silence like a weirdo. Take note, you guys. They try to make it seem like we're the weirdos. The real weirdos are the people who deny this work and call in here and troll all day like this with no caller ID. All right, I'll hang up so he can go back to playing with himself. Okay. All right. All right, Macrodosing, if you're out there, step up to the plate. Guarantee it's going to be a 3-pitch strikeout. I used to be a pitcher in my heyday. Pitcher, shortstop. Can play these games and decode them. Anyway. We'll leave it there for now. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you to the super chatters. And until next time.